Okay, what if I told you a doctor's visit could cost less than your lunch? It sounds impossible, right? Well, today we're diving into a technology that could completely reshape healthcare as we know it. AI agents that are designed to talk with, advise, and even monitor patients. And to really get what's at stake here, we have to start with just one single number. $9 an hour. Think about that. As a wage, that's below minimum wage in a lot of places. But in the world of healthcare, this number, this $9, could be the spark for an unbelievable revolution. Or it could be the start of a very concerning race to the bottom.
So here's where that number comes from. You've got a company called Hippocratic AI, and they've teamed up with the tech giant NVIDIA. What are they offering? Generative AI healthcare agents for a tenth of the cost of a human nurse. We're not talking about a small change here. This is a massive economic earthquake aimed right at the heart of the healthcare industry.
So let's look at the promise. What's the argument for unleashing this kind of technology? Well, the people behind it aren't just selling this as a way to cut costs. No, they're positioning it as a potential cure for a system that, let's be honest, is under an incredible amount of strain. You see, the real push for this tech is a crisis that's right around the corner. The world is facing a shortfall of 10 million health workers by 2030. That is a staggering gap in care. And the argument from companies like Hippocratic AI is that these large language models, these LLMs, are the only way we can possibly scale up to bridge that divide.
Now, the tech itself isn't just one AI talking into a microphone. It's a whole system they call the Polaris constellation. The best way to think about it is like a hospital team. You have one main AI agent that talks directly to you, the patient. But in the background, you've got these specialist AIs, one for meds, one for lab results, all advising and cross-checking each other to make sure everything is safe and accurate.
Which, of course, brings us to the biggest, most important question of all. In a field that is built on the idea of first do no harm, can we actually trust an AI with our health? I mean, really?
Well, the company has definitely put its system through its paces. They had over 6,000 licensed U.S. clinicians, we're talking mostly nurses, but hundreds of doctors too, sit down and evaluate these AI agents over hundreds of thousands of different calls.
And the results from all that testing? They show a pretty dramatic jump in how accurate this thing is. According to their own data, the rate of correct medical advice went from about 80% all the way up to over 99% with their latest system. That is a huge leap.
But honestly, this is the number that really matters. In their most recent tests, on over 300,000 calls, the rate of what they call severe harm concerns was 0%. They're basically saying this is a new gold standard for AI safety in medicine. And you should know, this isn't just some experiment happening in a lab. This is live. Major hospital systems like Universal Health Services are already using these agents for things like post-discharge follow-up calls. And their CEO says they're seeing a high degree of success and that patients are reacting positively. Some people even said the AI's voice was friendly, welcoming, and therapeutic.
Okay, but for every incredible promise, there's always a potential peril. And when you strip away all the impressive data and the tech talk, this whole story really comes down to one simple thing: a question of trust. I mean, think about it. The company is literally named after the ancient oath that doctors take. But can an algorithm, no matter how smart it gets, really understand and uphold the promise to do no harm? Or is this just brilliant marketing for a technology that's about to turn an industry upside down?
Now, if you ask the company's investors, like General Catalyst, they sound pretty sure about it. They've poured millions in, saying that the founder, Munjal Shah, really gets that trust is the single most important currency in healthcare.
But a quick look at Shah's recent history paints a much more complicated picture. This quote is from reporting on his last company, Health IQ. In legal letters, former employees described a time that was, and I quote, filled with lies and deception. The contrast between that and trust is, well, it's jarring. And just consider this timeline for a second. Health IQ, which was backed by some of the very same investors, filed for bankruptcy in 2023. And in that exact same year, Hippocratic AI was founded. That is an incredibly fast pivot from a major failure to a brand new venture. Yet, even with all the controversy around Health IQ's collapse, investors have poured $278 million into this new company. On one hand, it shows just how much faith they have in this technology. But on the other, it raises the stakes to an absolutely astronomical level.
So where does all of this leave us? You've got this amazing technology that could solve a massive healthcare crisis, but it's being led by someone with a pretty controversial track record. This is the human algorithm that we now have to figure out. And I want to be really clear. This is not some theoretical debate about what might happen in the future. As we just saw, real patients are on the phone with these AI agents right now, today. These ethical questions aren't for tomorrow. They are immediate and they are urgent.
Because the debate has to go way beyond just costs and accuracy, right? What about our privacy when an AI has all of our most sensitive health data? What happens if staff who aren't properly trained start misusing the tool? And can an AI that's just trained to sound empathetic ever replace the genuine connection of human care? And maybe the biggest question of all, whose values are we actually programming into these machines? So let's just make this personal for a moment. After everything we've looked at, the incredible promise of access and safety, weighed against these really serious questions about trust, would you be comfortable with an AI making a critical healthcare call for your parent or your child or someone you love?
Look, this technology is moving forward, and it's moving fast. So that leaves us all with one final crucial thought. What are the non-negotiable questions that we absolutely must demand answers to before we hand over even more of our health to intelligent machines? That's the conversation we all need to be having starting right now.